and welcome to my channel. I have a speed build for you today, and it is a little cottage that I built for my Cottage Living Let's Play that I've started here on my YouTube channel. And I wanted to build a nice cottage for the single mom and her daughter that are going to be living here. If you are interested in that Let's Play, I have started it already. I couldn't wait. I didn't want to just build and then not do any of the gameplay because I was so excited about the gameplay. So I have started that Let's Play, and I will post a link if you are interested in taking a look at that. So as I said, this is for a Let's Play, so I very much had a specific set of Sims in mind as I was building this little starter cottage and farm. The Sim that I'm playing with for this Let's Play is a single mom, and she is escaping an abusive relationship with her toddler daughter, and they are moving to Henford-on-Bagley. And so they've basically left everything behind to move to this new place and to start over again. And so that's why the build doesn't have a whole lot of decorations or things like that in it, because she basically just kind of up and left to escape all of that. So that is the backstory behind the Sims that are going to be living in this cottage here in Henford-on-Bagley. And so I won't talk any more about it, but we'll just go ahead and we will get in and you can see how their cottage came together. So I'm building on the only empty lot that shipped with the pack, which is in the neighborhood of Old New Henford. And I chose this lot. It's a really big lot. It's a 40 by 50 lot, I believe. So it's a huge lot, but I chose it mainly because I didn't want to delete any of the builds that the Game Changers made. I felt kind of bad about doing that because all of those very talented builders and simmers, far more talented builders than I am, spent so much time and energy working on those lots, and I just felt really guilty deleting them because they're really good, and I didn't want to take that away. So that's why I chose to build on this empty lot, even though it's a little bit bigger than maybe what I would have normally have chosen for a starter farm cottage. So that's why we are building here. I really like a lot of the items that came in Build By. There's some really pretty things, and they really do create a really nice cottagey vibe for it. I did do a bit of tweaking with the build itself, making it smaller because I was very quickly running out of money. I made the house too big, but I really did want it to have 2 bedrooms because, as I said, it's a single mom and her toddler moving to this home. You know, she's escaping an abusive ex-husband, so they've come here. She's scraped together enough money to purchase this little cottage and farm, and she really wanted it to have a space for her daughter. Fortunately, her daughter is pretty young, so she hasn't been super affected by the split, but she's really trying to make a good life for herself and her daughter here. So I made this cottage using only base game and Cottage Living. It is available on the gallery for download if you are interested in it. Like I said, it is made specifically for the Sims that I'm using in my Let's Play, but it would be really easy for you to convert that toddler bedroom into something else. That being said, if you're looking for something, you know, for just a single Sim, I did make another build using this pack. I didn't make a speed build for it, but I really like how it turned out. I ended up making it in the lot that's up by the waterfall in the Bramblewood. I did bulldoze that lot for it. It's a smaller lot, but I really like how that build turned out. And I almost wish that I had done that build first, because when I was building this, there were a lot of things that I wasn't the most comfortable with. Like, there's a lot of debug landscaping that comes with this pack, and in fact almost all the landscaping with this comes in debug, and there was so much of it that I got kind of overwhelmed, and I feel like I did a better job with the landscaping and the other little cottage that I built, but I'm still really happy with how this one turned out. So we're in the kitchen right now, and I liked going with the dark wood. I kind of felt like it created a nice, like, homey, comfortable living space for my Sim and her daughter. I really wanted to use the fireplace because I thought that it was just so pretty, and and it fit really well with the vibes that I was going for. I did end up splitting up the kitchen and the living room and creating smaller rooms, which I think it created like a nice cozy cottage vibe by doing that. I make a little entryway and I didn't decorate it with a whole lot of stuff. There's just like a bench where I can imagine, them coming in and like taking off their shoes or their boots and sitting down there. This is the mom's room. Not a lot in there. I really like the bed that comes with it. With the pack, there's a lot of cute swatches for the bedspread. The toddler's room has a little bit more to it, but there wasn't any toddler or kids furniture that came with the pack. However, I think that this bed that came with the base game fits with the whole feel of the cottage. And I did initially put that dresser in here, but I ended up taking it out and moving the bookcase because it just seemed like a toddler doesn't really need the dresser. We have the dresser in the mom's room, and so that should be fine. I put a bathtub in instead of a bathtub and shower combination, or just a shower, because there's a toddler. Although I will be honest with you, I struggle because it seems like my Sims take so long when they take a bath. So I often don't like to have just a bathtub. So as you can see, I'm adjusting the sizing of the house. I ended up taking out those dormers because they were quite expensive. They were like 400 simoleons each, and as much as I wanted them on, I had to take them off. They just didn't work. I like what I did in the kitchen and the living room with this back wall being the stonework that matches the outside. I thought it was kind of a nice touch that the stone may be carried on the inside of the cottage, like it's an older cottage, and so maybe the wallpaper and stuff was added later to the interior walls. The wallpaper is really pretty. It can get kind of busy, but I kind of like the feel that it creates. I do wish that maybe we had like just a plain swatch that matched the wood to kind of take down that busyness, but overall I like how it looks. So now I'm kind of out in the yard working on, creating like the farm space. I'm making a pond, getting a feel for the pond tool. I will be honest, the pond tool can be really overwhelming for me because of like the way that you need to kind of build up the shores of the pond to make it look a little bit more natural. I did put a chicken coop and an animal shed in this build, as well as some plots to plant crops. The animal shed, if I were to go back and do this again, I'd probably hold off putting that in the build because it's expensive and it costs a lot to get the animal. And with the way this all ends up coming together, my Sims start with like just over 100 simoleons, so they definitely do not have the money to purchase a llama or a cow to put in there. So I think if I were to do this over again, I would probably take that out. And it also meant that I didn't have enough money to put in a fence to kind of enclose the space. So, I didn't do the greatest job with budgeting for all of this, but a fence can come a little bit later. The pond took so much time putting all of this grass and stuff around it to kind of create a natural looking pond. I do like how it ended up coming together. I like the pond tool. I think it really creates a really pretty aesthetic, and I thought it really fit with the feel of this countryside and this particular cottage, and I liked that we had that here for them. As I mentioned, all of the landscaping is in debug, and I got really overwhelmed with it because there was just so much landscaping and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, because again, I wanted to create this really lush country feel to the cottage, and there was just so much to do, and I'm not the best at landscaping on my best days, so I kind of struggled a little bit with it, but I think that it turned out cute and creates like a nice little English like cottage vibe with it. I do put a few trees around, mainly because this lot is just so big. It looked weird without the trees. So here I'm trying to figure out what to do about a fence. I thought about a debug fence, but then I was like, no, we'll just leave it alone. And I use a little bit of terrain paint to kind of create some paths, like to the front door and maybe around like the chicken coop and to the animal shed, and just using a little bit of terrain paint to make it feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more lived in, and just kind of like, you know, adding a little bit of depth to the build that might have been lacking otherwise. And I kind of stopped with some of the landscaping on like the side of the cottage because, like I said, I was just feeling so overwhelmed by all of it when I was doing this build that I was like, I can't, this is like making me feel like way too freaked out. So I need to take that down just a little bit. But overall, I do like how the build came together. I think it works really well for my Sims that are living here. And so we are into the screenshots now. I do want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please do give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and go check out my Cottage Living Let's Play here on YouTube. And I will talk to you again soon.